Good morning, super scientists. It's Miss Stone here with Mrs. Stone's Science Lab. And today, as promised, I'm going to be making a model of a terrarium. Now, before we get started with that, though, I made myself a little cheat sheet of sorts, and you too can do this as well. And so, just kind of like how we have, if you've ever seen like the food pyramid, we also can have an ecosystem pyramid. So, at the top of our pyramid is our single organism, which in this case is this pink fish. So, the top layer is called individual, right? Because it's just one. And it's a single organism, so one organism. So it's this pink fish right here. All right, and then if you have more than one individual, that makes up your population. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these pink fish in this aquatic ecosystem, and that makes up the population. So it's a group of the same kind of animal. This example, it's a pink fish. All right, then if you add in, so you have the pink fish and then you add in a different population along with it in the same area. So I added some redfish in here, so pink and redfish, and that makes up a community. It's all the populations that live together. So like in an aquatic ecosystem, the community could involve multiple kinds of fish, as well as like seaweed, another aquatic plant life, shrimps, all kinds of things. All the way up to like whales and sharks and all that good stuff. So that makes up their community. And then with all of this put together, these parts, it creates our ecosystem. That's when you add in the non-living items. So an ecosystem, again, is all living and non-living things in one area. So you have the variety of fish, have some seaweed, some sand, some rocks, clams, all kinds of cool things. And that would build up into our ecosystem. All right, so the terrarium is not an aquatic, it's not an example of an aquatic ecosystem. Terrarium, the first part of it is terrain, and terrain is land. So I'm going off of Generation Genius's Make a Terrarium activity that you could, like, it's an optional activity. And I tried really hard, guys, but unfortunately I couldn't find really any real materials for this. And we're practicing social distancing, so I didn't go out to the store to buy it, as well as that kind of the kind of things I would need to get. They wouldn't, they couldn't do. They're focusing on groceries and those kind of essential things for like pickup or whatever. So it's okay. Instead, I improvised, found things similar to represent it, and so I'm making a model of it. And remember, a model is a man-made, so a human, a person, in this case me, making something that represents something else in real life. So that's a model. We use a lot of models in science. Okay, so I couldn't find a glass jar with a lid, so I have this little glass bowl thing. This is my mesh. It's hard to, there you go. I think it was like a sock, but I don't have any scissors, believe it or not. Miss Stone doesn't have scissors at home. It's okay. I have some rocks here that were like part of some decoration. I don't have I couldn't get activated carbon. So these little pieces of paper, the purple paper, are representing the activated carbon. But normally, apparently, you can get it like at a pet store, like in the aquarium section, because people could use this for their fish tanks. Since I am not using real plants, I didn't see the need to have a spray bottle of water, but if you were to make an actual terrarium, you would need one, because you would need to go and spray water on the plants frequently. Depends on the kind of plants. It might be like once a day, once a week, or once every other day. It depends. All right, but I didn't, since these aren't real things, there was no need for me to go find one of those. So these little decorative fake flowers are representing the plants growing in soil. All right, and then I have some fake decorative moss that I found to represent moss growing in soil. Soil is these crumbled up pieces of pink paper, and I have a spoon, because if I was actually using real materials, I would not want to really handle them with my hands. If I were going to handle it with my hands, then I would need to wear gloves, as well as I would think it'd be beneficial to wear safety goggles. But I do have spoons, obviously, so I figured it'd be good to at least do that part. So now our objective is to identify all components of an ecosystem, recognize how components of an ecosystem interact. All right, the really cool thing about terrarium is it is a miniature ecosystem that you can watch. Some people actually keep terrariums in their homes, whether it be for pets, like if they have reptiles and such, as well as maybe they just want a little piece of the outside world inside their house or their apartment. So again, this is just the model. So I have my glass bowl thing. All right, now the procedure: add 1-inch thick layer of rocks in the jar. So I'm be careful so I don't break the glass. Trying to use my spoon. And I don't have a whole lot of rocks, but it'll do. All right, and that's that step. All right, and then I'm going to add the activated carbon over the rocks. Okay, so I have the rocks. I'm putting the representative of the activated carbon, which was the 4 little pieces of paper, on top of the rocks. Okay. So now if I had gotten actual mesh, I would cut a circle of mesh slightly wider than the inside of the jar. And that's to make sure, you're supposed to do it wider so that way it makes sure that it covers everything you need to cover, as well, because then the next layer is your soil, right? So I'm going to put my, it's already kind of in a circle, put my mesh in. All right, and then it says use a spoon to add 2-inch layer of soil on top. So I'm adding in the soil. Okay. Then add the moss and the plants. So I have my moss. I'm going to add my plants. And then this is the part where I would, so this is what it looks like. Got your rocks, your activated charcoal, your mesh, your soil, your plants. On this side you can see the moss. This is where I'm going to take my imaginary spray bottle and water it generously, so that means a lot. Then I would close the lid tightly, and then that at this point, if this was an actual terrarium, then I could watch the ecosystem over time and make adjustments as necessary until the balance is just right. So what that means is finding the balance is that once the plants start growing, it will actually be able to start take care of it itself, to where you wouldn't have to spray it with water at all, really. So, and that's also an important reason why, you know, when you make a terrarium, it's a closed off environment, because that way, like if it's out in the sunlight, the water that you sprayed in there soaks in the soil, and then the heat from the sunlight has it evaporate, and then it condensates at the top of the lid, and then once it condenses enough, then it will start precipitating. So you have a mini water cycle going on in there, and that's what it means by balancing, is that it should really just start taking care of itself. The activated carbon is nutrients really that plants need, and the activated charcoal is the purpose of it is to just help with building the nutrient base that plants would normally receive from being like outside. All right. Sometimes, mainly when people make an aquatic one of these, they'll put like a fish or like little shrimps that will eat the different things that build up in there. But again, this is just a model, right? And since I couldn't find any like real things to actually make it work. But that is our terrarium, and thank you for stopping by and watching. Until next time, so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again, I say so long, farewell to you, my friend. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again. Bye, guys.